Hello there, many thanks for joining us on Joy As I Am Live. It's beautiful to be here this evening, and I hope you had a stress-free day and was productive today. Today on the program, we are dedicating this show to women, equity or equality. We'll be talking about leadership as well. How can women rather thrive? What is hindering the girl child? What are those biases that we must put aside? This is all coming while we are still talking about the just concluded conversation and celebration of the girl child, the International Day of the Girl Child, and the conversation are still rife around that. We must get solution for the girl child to build to build a world rather where a girl child can thrive. In the studio with me this evening is a politician. She's a young, dynamic politician. She is a businesswoman. She's known for her resilience and passion for leadership. Although she holds a first degree in travel, tourism, and hospitality management, she further honed her skills in Harvard Business School in Boston, where she completed professional course in strategic business management. How is she in politics then with all of this? That's the conversation we're having. But that'll be after this short break, so stay with us. Welcome back from that very short break. In the studio with us right here is Honorable Fatima Hamman. I have reeled out her long profile earlier, but she's here also to commemorate the Day of the Rural Woman. Remember, just a couple of days ago we celebrated the International Day for the Girl Child. Today we are talking about the rural woman. Thank you so much for being part of the program.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, it's a pleasure is all mine. Pleasure is indeed all mine. But I was asking a question. It wasn't rhetorical. How did you go from all this, having studied all this, across the world, and coming back to Nigeria to join politics? I think that's where we'll get the conversation to the other aspects of the conversation tonight.
Okay, thank you very much for this opportunity. Well, my leadership journey began when I was at a very young age. When I was in school, I found myself more interested in organizations and community work in school. And then the passion grew from there into the real world, having to advocate for cases that I was passionate about. And then that drew me back. Of course, I traveled, I got my education, and I still came back because there were a lot of issues on ground that I was affected by. I mean, every Nigerian would be affected by. I needed to see the country move in a different direction, and I was encouraged to put in my own quota.
Okay.
Because it's something that I've always been passionate about is people are making a change in the society.
Oh, that's very noble, I must say.
Yeah.
That's very noble. But we all have people who come with good intentions and often get discouraged. They find themselves going back out of Nigeria. What would you say has kept you back here? And what are you getting a reception when you come with these good ideas and noble initiatives that you have to actually effect change?
Yes, to an extent. I mean, of course, everything will be a process. I wouldn't expect it to be like 100% progression, but we're still in the process. Of course, as being in a leadership position, which made me make that decision to run for being the youngest to run for the House of Representatives, gave me the platform to be the voice to the voiceless, and to also inspire the women that wanted to have that opportunity that, wow, the woman can do this. I also have this opportunity to do this. I also have the opportunity to make a change in my society. So I had to be encouraged to give them hope. So I was the voice. I felt that I needed to be the voice and stay strong to give them hope, because there are many situations in the society that affects women that people are not voicing it out. There's just so many things that women can have a voice on. So that was part of why I needed to keep pushing.
maybe I'm not hitting it hard enough. I want to hear everything about your experience
Really?
running for the House of Representatives, especially being so young and being a woman. It isn't easy enough for a regular older woman who is perceived to have had experience and all that. I must imagine what it would have been for you coming into the country, seeing that you can have run for this position.
Yeah.
And I want it all.
Okay, so of course there will be many challenges while I was running. Of course, I believe that first of all, identifying the lack of representation in many leadership spaces, you can tell that women don't take that role in Nigeria. Women also need to have their voices heard. So I identified the problems before I could push myself in and say, yes, I'm going to come in and address it. Challenges were there because there were issues of criticism, that can a woman do this better? Is this something that a woman would do better than what a man should do? So some people would doubt that, that was one of the issues. Then also the issue of age. The issue of age came because I was running against older women and older men. Right. So there were issues, but of course, I absolutely can't say that it was a bad issue for me, because the position I expected it. The position was still there for me to go on and be the voice to the other women that didn't have the voice. So there's so many issues. The issue of language barriers, because I speak Hausa, but I mean fluently, not so fluent, but I'm trying to get there, to where it's really, really good, perfection.
And in Nigeria, it's a no-brainer. You just have to.
Yes, you just have grassroots. By the way, I'm taking classes, so I'm sure by a couple of months I'll be really, really good. Right. So the language barrier was there, and of course, so many issues, the age, all that. But that was not it for me. I looked beyond it.
You looked beyond
I really did, yes.
Okay, so what would you say the biggest challenge was, and if that challenge was not in your path, you would have emerged winner of that election?
Well, if that challenge was not on my path, so there were people that were there already that already had a strong holding. They've been in politics years before I was even born. Let's start with that. Right. So that was already a very big rival for me. So balancing what I had to offer with what was already offered years before I even thought of politics was one of the challenges that I had, that were one of the biggest ones, because when they are there, they are connected, they have better experiences than I do, although my ideas were very fresh, and I had really great solutions for so many things, on their employment, equality in women and all that, taking political positions. But there's more to it. Right. You find out that most men are in politics than women, especially because I represented the youths, and these are older men that have been there. So I mean, we could learn from each other, but for me it was the experience, and experience has led to many great things, so I don't regret anything.
I mean, when we talk about young people in politics and political participation, often we talk about the paucity of funds and the fact that people do not trust enough to invest or sponsor or donate towards these young people's ambition and campaigns and all that. Yes. Is that something you also faced?
Yes and no, because you're right. Knowing that when a younger person would want to run, you need to have lots of money to run the campaign. But the good news was that 2023 there was a 50% cut on our nomination forms from the party. So that encouraged a lot of women to get into politics and run for different positions. So I took an opportunity to do that. So the funding, that part was clear. But although, you know, when you're running, you have to put in a lot of money. It took a lot of my money. I spent millions. I mean, it took so much of my money. And I had family support, you know, and encouragement, of course. But you have to be financially prepared when you are doing it, definitely, because politics is about money. You can't run for politics if you are not ready to spend and make a change in people's lives.
Did you get overwhelmed by the ways in which you're spending? There's in some other parts of the world, when you say you spend because of politics, is because you're paying for billboards, you're getting media tours, you're traveling, so logistics. But here you attend the town hall meetings, for instance, where you gather young people, you gather people to say, this is what I have for you. And afterwards they're like, okay, so what have you got for us?
Yeah.
So did that overwhelm you? Was it a culture shock for you when you saw that this is the
real politics?
The real politics in Nigeria.
We want to see the money. Yeah. That part of it was overwhelming, but it also, that was what really made me to be wiser, because you realize that most of these things that you have planned to have happened, if opportunities were there,
right,
a lot of people believe in it, but they believe more in what you can show, what you can give them
at that time.
So yes, my campaign crews organized a lot of town hall meetings in my constituency, Amak and Gwarimpa. So, but then regardless of that, I still had to mobilize some, you know, women leader, you know, mobilization. Like I said, you can't do without considering the financial implications when you're going into politics. It is very, very necessary, especially in Nigeria.
So let's talk about another aspect of young people looking up to people, women like you, who, you know, took charge and said, you know what, I want to enact that change myself. And sometimes it can get so overwhelming for these young people. All they look at is the many challenges, the myriad of challenges in front of them. What would your advice be to young girls who are only just dreaming to one day be like you, a leader, one who has tasted the muddy waters of our electoral process?
First of all, I would advise a lot of these young women out there to embrace their voice.
Okay.
It's very important. You have to be a potential leader. You have to believe in yourself, and you have to have a voice. Don't be afraid to have your voice heard. It's very important. And by having your voice heard, just know that you're still going to face some challenges along the way. It's not going to be all smooth.
Right.
Because you're going to be an opinionated person.
You have to be.
Yes, as a leader, you have to be an opinionated person, and also respect people's culture.
Right.
Because people from different, you're going to deal with different types of cultural diversity. So when you have the respect for people's culture, you grab the attention of the people, because people will see the respect, and it takes two. You give respect and you get the respect back. Because if you start with this idea at a younger age, when you go into politics, you'll be able to deal with all sorts of challenges that comes the way. It's not going to be an easy journey.
I can only imagine.
It's not going to be an easy journey.
We had this conversation sometime last week where we talked about that gesture from political parties to say, you know what, we're slashing it by 50% for women, in some cases for young people 50% as well, and all of that. Would you say you got support as a young person with great ideas? Would you say the political parties supported you enough, or most of those promises were just statements and no answers?
Okay, so like I said, everything is in the process. When I ran, I invested my time and my resources. I exhausted a lot of that. I took advantage of the youth initiative that you're not too young to vote or run.
Not too
office.
Young, not too young to run bill.
Yes.
Or act now.
As an act, yes. So I took advantage of it, but along the line, going into the time, I spent 1 year and I'm like, okay, so where's the support from my party? You know, I'm ready to put my effort into the society to make a change, but I didn't get a position, and I haven't given up. I'm still working towards it, to the opportunity where a position will be given to me. I'll take my office and I'll be able to do my due diligence as a citizen, because the ideas I have and the zeal I have is still on.
Of course.
It's still on to make a change, and a lot of people are looking up to me. A lot of younger youths like myself, a lot of younger females like myself. So an opportunity that the party office would say, oh fine, let's help her get to this stage. That's the support I'm looking for.
Can you share an experience, if any, where you faced any gender bias in your campaign process, the entire process?
Like, I would say the whole entire process was, why is a woman running when there were men that were there young, older than
who
them,
are supposedly who know better.
Exactly. Who knows where the gender would come from? You could be talking to me, but you, in your mind, you're like, laughing it out and saying, well, she's just doing it for this.
Let her have the experience.
Exactly. So I've already been baptized now by the politics, the real raw politics, where people will come to your face and smile with you, and then only God knows what their plans are. So I had my own plans, but I'm still working on it. I have a channel of youth that...
Right. Would you say you have grown tougher skin?
Yes, I have. I'll just listen. I'll be listening to you, but then I know what I want to do.
Okay. Okay, so if you when you look at our country, our beautiful country, Nigeria, what would you say the significant barriers to achieving gender equality would be? Because you would have been one of the women in the house that would have made a difference. We have a very small number of women in the house. We're here celebrating the Day of the Rural Women. Yes. We're also celebrating. We only just celebrated the International Day for the Girl Child. So internationally, globally, the world is turning into the potentials that an average girl has, and the opportunities and access that should be granted her. And yet, when you look at our legislative houses, we have just 10% of women there. And you know how policies or legislatures around gender would always be affected, because these are people who are not relatable to the challenges that the women face.
Exactly.
So what would you say are the barriers to having more women in spaces like that, political spaces, leadership positions?
Okay, so there's several barriers, but I'll name a few. Some of the barriers could be the policies. Back to the policies. I feel that the policy acts, although our First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, is working tirelessly with which I must really commend her efforts to making this quota, add a bit more of the quota for more women in politics. Right. I feel that if women have the opportunity to be, if the policies are then acted on, if there are more women, the policies, if there are more better policies, there will be more women to join.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it all comes down to the policies. If the policies are acted on and they are really working, there will be more opportunities for women to take that position.
Oh, that's a good one, but it's the case of what comes first, because for those policies to even work, you remember what happened around the 33% derivation that we're all pushing for. So for these policies to work, women who know what we need, who knows what the chain and the long line of girl children who must develop their apex potentials, who know all of this, must put their hand down and achieve those policies. So what comes first? The need for women to get into the space and be able to change the status quo, or for the policies to be changed? And if the policy is supposed to be changed, there's nobody who will relate to the problems. You see women try to put their hands out in the house, and they're like a lone voice. sometimes you see outrightly derogatory statements at them.
Of course,
you know, you hear the later apologies, and you're like, oh, this is
that happened several times.
It has happened several times.
Yeah.
So what comes first? Because if you say policy, who is there to ensure that this policy is even implemented, even if it is it goes through the entire process?
The women that are there.
This little number.
Now. Yes, I think the women that are there, both in a very practical way and in a in a more really serious way. The reason why I said that is because it takes one woman, as a politician. First of all, you have to have your voice heard. You have your voice heard better when you are in that political position.
Right.
Your voice is heard better. So if you can work on what's wrong in a woman in office employing another woman, if she has that position and she has that power, she can take that power upon herself and employ another woman. And that's how it starts. And then policies can be made. There will be more open doors. There will be more opportunities for other women to join.
Why do women now get to such positions and they become all noble and say, oh no, I'm not going to employ because of gender bias. I want to employ because of this. And that brings the conversation to where some men are saying, oh, are you saying that we should keep merit aside and employ because of gender?
I think it's not a general all women. I think that there could be some women out there, which I am yet to see though, but I'm hopeful that the women are, I've met a few women though, but I feel that there are some women that don't allow those processes happen that way. I feel that a woman should have the opportunity because of our experience and would take her to the next level, especially when she is experienced, when she's gone through all the politics. She could be the best person to put there than somebody that is there that doesn't even know how to deal with political issues or anything like that. So when they have this opportunity to act on it, they should give them that opportunity to be able to help, because you can't do it all by yourself.
Oh no, you can't.
You can't. And you have to help somebody that will help another person.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
I wish they had that mindset.
I wish they all have that mindset, honestly.
Yeah.
And that has brought us to the conversation of mentorship. But that will be after this very short break. When we return, we'll talk about mentorship to the Nigerian young girl, the rural women who often are in underserved communities. Do they have the mentorship? Do they have the training, capacity building, help that they need to thrive? We'll be right back. This is Joy Asanya Live. Welcome back. Honorable Fatima Hamman is still right here. Like I said earlier, she's a politician, businesswoman, and so much more. We've been discussing the Nigerian woman, the Nigerian girl child, the rural woman, as today is the International Day of the Rural Woman. And we've talked about leadership and have gotten to mentorship. If you're just joining us, well, you're coming at a good time. We're discussing mentorship. Do we have women who are intentional about mentoring younger ones? Do we have women who are even happy to have younger ones grow? Is that statement true, that women do not support each other? Well, that's where we've gotten to. Honorable, that's for you right now. Would you say that we've seen intentionality beyond, I know you mentioned the wife of the president shortly.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Proudly so, I can tell. Okay. I can tell you're proud about. You did. But beyond that level, in all stratas, have you seen women who are very intentional about saying, you know what, it was a hurdle to get here. I understand what it means for the Nigerian girl to grow. I want to hold somebody's hand. That took a moment.
Yes, I mean, I can say some family members that have impacted me with wisdom and direction and guide, which is what every young aspiring leader or politician should go for. I mean, look for somebody that can guide you. It could be somebody, a family member, or someone in church, or a mentor. So yes, I've met people like that who are very close to me, close family members, very experienced in politics. By the way, if they tell you their knowledge in politics, you start running for all the positions. So yeah, that has been my go-to guide. But in the political arena, I'm yet to meet
those intentional mentors.
Well, I know of one, Mrs. Honorable Dr. Mrs. Dayo Lani.
Okay.
She's a mentor.
The Mandate Secretary for Women.
FCT. She's a mentor to me. She's a spiritual mother, and she's been a mentor because we ran practically alongside each other. In terms, she was doing Senate, and I did the House of Representatives. So I've learned a lot from her.
Okay, that's exciting. I'm sure. I'm happy you have some women who have impacted like that. But do you think we should do more? Should we get?
I think we should.
Yeah.
I think we should. To all the women out there that have that political positions, they are doing their best. No criticism, but they should impact the women that are already there in politics, that are trying to get to. Because I'm looking for as many mentors as possible, you know, of course, you know, so that when I get there, I know the mistakes that they've made, I don't make them. That's what mentorship is about.
And the men, have you also, pardon me, have you also met men who are very receptive to the idea of leadership? Because sometimes you hear some men talk and you're like, you're outrightly threatened. I do not know why, but this sounds like threat. But have you also met men who are very open to the idea of a woman leading and supporting that idea as well?
Yeah, I've met some men that are
more men than women,
supportive. I'll say more women than men.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because women need to get that seat, so there is a better support. But the men are like, oh, let me see, you know, I'll give you my 1 or 2 advices. But then deep down they know it's going to be a tough one. Just looking at you as a woman, you know. So it's left for you to break that barrier and take yourself through it with confidence. Right. Knowing that it will succeed. And
for young people who are seeking mentors in this highly patriarchal society, what would your suggestion or advice be to them?
Seeking your mentor? Well, look at read more about mentorship. Being, you know, like you have to be someone that is willing to learn. Because you're looking for a mentor, you should be open-minded to learn at the same time. And get somebody that believes in you.
Okay. Someone that believes
somebody that believes in where you are going. You want to be a politician, the person is there to believe in you, pray with you, support you in any way, guide you, advises. If you want to be, you know, a governor or whatever, that person is there for you. So I mean, it cuts across all careers.
So today is the day of the International Day for Rural Women. There's peculiarity when you come to Africa and the typical rural woman. She does not have access to several things, several important social amenities. I'm talking water, I'm talking energy, I'm talking roads. Some of them have to, you know, walk for long distances to even be able to get water. That's how bad it is to get this water that we take for granted. There are several challenges the Nigerian rural women face at the moment. What are the intentional policies you would suggest that you know, the government starts looking into just to relieve these underserved women?
I think the government needs to take into cognizance those problems and turn it around and make a, I would say, a town hall meeting for training, a training program. They can learn how to use the computer, because it starts from the beginning. You're going to start from the beginning, right from the scratch. So if they can get experienced hands that would enable these people come together and from time to time develop their skills. It could be in anything. You just said something. There are some people that haven't even had the opportunity to go to the best schools, but they're very intelligent when it comes to tech. You know, like you just sit them down and show them one or two things and they're like so good, you know. They grasp it very quickly. Those are the people that we need to encourage more, and the government needs to give them that platform, free training platforms to enable them to learn more about different skills in IT, you know, and all that.
Unfortunately, we still record a lot of cultural and religious biases when it comes to the development of women. Everybody has something to say about what she should and should not do, and sometimes it outrightly affects their development and education and so much more. Would you say we have done well moving away from that, and what more can we do so that horrible 20 million out of school children, 60% of whom are women, that kind of statistics is not something we're recording in this 21st century?
I think, like what I said before, I think that the solutions will come from our think tanks.
Okay. Who do you consider our think tanks?
The youths are the think tanks. A lot of youths have fantastic ideas on how the country should move forward, because majority of the youth, like you said, a lot of them don't have jobs, don't have this and that, so they need to get something to do. And if given that platform to come up with great ideas and all that, I think that the government needs to invest more in them, provide more job opportunities for the youths.
You mentioned something very good, that's technology. But I also have had conversations in these little hubs, ICT hubs, where it seems that it's self-taught. A lot of Nigerians have to teach themselves. There are no government-owned schools do not have contemporary syllabus to meet up with where the world is at the moment. So if you must learn anything about technology itself and all that, would you say women have been interested? I've had conversations where there's a lot of people say, when I advertise for students, very often you see one girl in a class of 50 and all that. Why are women not so interested in technology? They are there, I know, but they don't seem a lot.
Oh, I think you should check again.
Really?
Yes, women are very interested in technology.
The Nigerian women?
No, they don't want to be left out anymore. Even the market women. You go to the markets now, you know, they have bank accounts, you can do transfer, they know how to operate there. They are even aiming to have Android phones.
Right.
Yeah, even in all these rural areas. Yeah, go around and see. They are now becoming more aware of the changing processes of technology, because technology is evolving very fast and it's not waiting for anyone. So they have to catch up with the speed. So a lot of them now are opening their mind to tech stuff.
Oh, that's exciting. That's exciting.
And to trainings and all that. You know, because you know what happens when they were not having access to those tech stuff. They were busy trying to build their business the normal way. So now that these things have now come to their ears, they're looking for ways to enhance their business. And the only way they can do it,
they have harnessed those ways sufficiently.
They can't get there all in like one day.
Soup, right.
It takes a process to get to that stage where we are on right now. You know, we're on a different platform. We're so techy, we know everything.
Exactly.
You know, but they're taking like baby steps, which is why the government should continue to encourage them, continue to put out training programs for them in their society, in their community.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Now, what message would you like to share with young women who aspire to lead in their communities, who are waiting for just an opportunity to also lead as, you know, like you?
Well, I've said it before. I said the opportunity is there for you. Just have a voice, believe in yourself, and get a mentor that would guide you through the way. It could be a spiritual mentor, it could be from someone in your family, you know.
So mentor again.
Mentorship is very important. You cannot do anything without going through something whereby somebody already knows and shows you the way how to do it. I think for me that is the fastest way to get to success. One of the fastest ways
to get success. Yes. Learn from someone who's done it,
who
has made the mistake and
exactly overcome. Because it's like a school of, you're going to a school. You can't say you want to sit for mathematics and the mathematician is here to teach you, and you say you just go there, you don't need him to teach you, and you're going to come out with all straight A's.
Right.
No matter how intelligent you are, you don't know what sort of questions that will be put before you. So everything has to do with mentorship and believing in yourself. With that and with hopes that with your voice being heard, that you'll get to the next level.
So looking ahead now, what changes do you hope to see in the next decade regarding women leadership, equality, development, empowerment in Nigeria?
Well, I'm hoping that in the next couple of years, more women will take offices in the political arena, and that will change the face of the way we can address situations to do with women, like all the issues where it comes to sex harassment and all those stuff, violence and all those early marriage problems and all that, so that there will be more policies and more women making those policies, because it takes women to know those problems to be able to solve them. It takes more of women to know those problems that men don't know, because it's a woman's problem.
It's a woman's problem. She's watching her child struggle with a girl child trying to bring down the proverbial door. Exactly. So she's watching it, so I'm sure she knows more.
So we need more encouragement from our political leaders as well, who are there already, to take the hands of young aspiring politicians to the next level.
Okay, so what is next for you?
I'm in the process of so far I am waiting for office, for appointments, hopefully soon, with hopes that would happen. Because I've worked hard for it.
Right.
I've really worked hard. I've given it my best. Worked hard means I've gone through the different wards and I've tried to help in my community. I've tried to look for solutions and giving solutions and ideas. I've gathered some youths together and I've opened some platforms for them whereby they can also learn from what I have been able to go through.
Okay.
So I opened a platform called Sage Global Response, whereby the youths are involved and the common Nigerian citizens are involved. So they're empowered on a daily basis, or rather like hourly basis, of what's going on in Nigeria. It's an informative platform, it's an empowering platform, and we also have a club of it whereby people can also harness the possibilities of knowing certain tourist spots in Nigeria and all that. So being a member of that Sage Response. And also with my charity foundation, I've done a lot of outreach in my community. So that's that. Then I speak a lot. I'm a child and youth advocate, so I speak a lot on events on how people can be more inspired to take the political office as women and as youths, believing that things like that can work for them.
So are you willing to share the kind of appointment you would be looking forward to? If you have to pick right now, what would it be?
A minister?
Okay. a minister in of women, or?
Well, I won't say of women, but I would be given an office, because there are new offices that are found. I'll be minister. Yeah.
It would be nice to have a young minister such as yourself, with fresh ideas.
Because I know I can make better changes with a bigger position.
Better change it to the bigger position. Yes. I was about to say, this mouth of yours, I hope it doesn't get into trouble.
No, of course. I know I'm getting a lot of support from my followers, and they believe in me. They also have very great ideas, you know, so we're all working together. It's not just me. I'm the voice for the voiceless, like I said. So I'm talking on behalf of the youth and the women that don't have the opportunity to be there. So if there are changes that needs to be done, definitely it can be done through me or whoever is there. And when I'm given the opportunity, I will also effect those changes.
But when it comes to politics, that doesn't make you conspicuous enough to be noticed. What are you doing other than you know, just doing your best in your space? But what gets you noticed enough to say, you know what, we know that she has the capacity to achieve?
Yeah. So like I said, empowering programs. So I'm doing some collaborations with some empowering programs. So which means that I'm putting out my ideas there. What people can learn from me is there. Solutions that I can give to make, like you just said, there are some people that don't have the skills in tech and all that. So I have good skills in tech. So I can also help them when it comes to that area. And in terms of business, because I'm a businesswoman as well, aside from being a politician, I'm a businesswoman. So those are the things. If that's where my strength is, I'll leverage on it and be able to take it to the next step in the society, hoping that I will be noticed. It's just a matter of hope.
It's a matter of hope.
Yeah,
I really do hope you're noticed.
Yeah,
yeah, it would be nice to, you know, get a young person rather, and a woman, you know. Now with politicians like you talk the talk so that we can criticize and say, remember when Honorable Fatima was right here and claimed and promised everything? Well, now she's minister and not doing what she promised. It would be nice to criticize you.
No. I you know what was very interesting? I know there's going to be criticism, which is why I'll make sure that there will be change enough where it won't be criticized badly. Right. Because I can't see myself there and not do anything. Anybody that knows me knows I'm a mover, so I move with
more grease, more grace. I really thank you for being part of the program. It's been really
a pleasure
exciting.
Having you.
Yeah, it's wonderful. We've been discussing with Honorable Fatima Hamman. She is a dynamic young politician and businesswoman. We've discussed leadership, mentorship, and everything around the Nigerian woman. How can she thrive? I hope you had a wonderful time spending it with us as we went through the many phases of how we can get her thriving. This is where we draw the curtains on Joy Asanye Live. It's been wonderful, but do have a restful evening.